In our daily tarot today, we have a lot of wands. A lot of fiery energy is coming forward and in a lot of ways encouraging us to move towards something new. We have the opening card as the Six of Wands. The challenge that we're facing today is the Knight of Cups. The way to get through the challenge is the Knight of Wands, and then the ultimate outcome is the Five of Wands. So lots of fire energy and motivating energy is coming in today. And we have to be aware of where we dampen our own fire, right? So we're feeling this call to move into some kind of new direction or towards some project that we've had in our mind for a length of time. And I can say that because we have the Six of Wands showing up as our opening card. And we see an individual sitting on this horse with a wand in their hand with this bay laurel leaf wreath kind of hanging down from this wand, which is noting a victory of some sort. And there's 5 people behind them all holding a wand as if to send more energy to the motivation of this person who's moving forward in a new direction based on the past successes that they've had. So I'm asking you, I guess, what that fire is in you that feels an impulse to move in a new direction, and what you've experienced in life that is encouraging of that, right? There's like this buildup of energy that's been happening, and you have quite literally a support system around you that's encouraging you to move toward that. And so that's the opening energy that we have today in our reading. The challenge, though, that we're facing is the Knight of Cups. So we see a person who is knighted riding a horse who has one foot lifted or one hoof lifted as if they are starting to pass over this stream that's in front of them. And the knight is carrying a cup as they cross this stream or, creek of some sort, at least in the card. So there's this energy of caution, right? And reading a situation that's coming up is our challenge today. And perhaps where our own emotional fears or hesitancy is kind of dampening our fire, right? So if you've been out walking next to a river or a stream and it's a raging river, it's nearly impossible to cross it, right? Without getting swept away. But if the stream is gentle and flowing, if it's deep, it may still be hard to cross. But if there's an area where it narrows, right, that might be the best place to cross that stream and river. And it most likely is. And so it's bringing up this energetic and reminding us that we have to feel things out in order to figure out what's the best place to place our feet, as we move forward in this new direction, and be willing to respond to the energy of a situation. But we have to be careful with ourselves that we don't let our own kind of concern around the unknown dampen our fire, right? And I say that because the way that we're going to get through this challenge of the Knight of Cups came in as the Knight of Wands, which is of equal and opposite energy, right? And you can see that if you have yourself really excited about moving towards something, and perhaps you share that with someone who is a negative Nancy, which I hesitate to use because I have dear friends named Nancy that I wouldn't consider negative by any way or means. But if you have that friend that always kind of shows you what could go wrong, right? They can kind of dampen your fire. They can kind of put out your fire sometimes, even if they show you all of these variables that make your dream seem impossible, right? But we have the Knight of Wands showing up today, which is pointing to this force that we feel inside of ourselves, right? Now it's interesting because we see that this card has a lion's head on the knight here, and it's an energetic of action, right? And like engaging yourself into something, right? This energetic of fire that's moving towards something. And when you feel a call to move towards something, often it doesn't matter what people tell you could get in your way, because that call is so strong that the mind doesn't have an anchor against it, and neither does the emotions, right? And so it's bringing this up. What do you feel in your heart called towards doing? And consider, right, that Leo, which is the lion, which, you know, is kind of signified in this card, is governed by the heart. And in the heart, it's actually, you know, this organ in our body, right, that sends nutrients and everything through our whole system, but it also gives us feedback around the situation that we're in, and if it's going to be opening or blooming, or if it is going to be more contracting and shutting down. And so if you feel this call in your body, then I would encourage you to follow it, right? Especially because we have 3 of the 4 cards showing up today that are all associated with wand, or the element of fire, because they're wands, right? So there's this fire within you that you can really feel, and it's an energetic of excitement and the unknown, but an unknown that we're willing to move toward. Now, our final outcome for the day showed up as the 5 of Wands. And the 5 of Wands is a card that is connoting an energetic of decision-making and options, right? Because the Roman numeral of 5 is a V. So it's kind of signaling this decision around which path you want to take, right? One edge of the V or the other edge of the V, and then it will veer quite literally into one direction or another direction. And what we see in this card is 5 individuals all carrying a wand, and at first glance they could be seen as being in combat, and at second glance they could be seen as being in a place of training. And so in a lot of ways, this card is telling us to choose our battles, and also to recognize that when we are faced with a challenge, we have a choice in how we work with it and maneuver around it and anchor ourselves with it, and how we engage, right? So you can engage in things that are challenging out of frustration, or you can engage with things out of challenging out of curiosity. And in a lot of ways, I think what's coming in today is how we engage ourselves, and why we engage ourselves, and what feels called to engage. So while there aren't any major arcana showing up in our reading today, we have 3 cards that have horses in them, and 3 cards that have wands in them. And so it's very telling of an energy and a shift that is calling us to the plate, so to speak. And ironically, of course, bats are also wands of sorts, and how we hit things out of the park, now that I think about it. But how do you engage, and what do you step up to the plate with, right? Do you step up in a place of caution, or do you step up in a place of confidence? And I think the reading today is encouraging us to step up in confidence, because you do, after all, have a community that supports you in being the best version of yourself. And by the best version of yourself, I mean the version of yourself that is true to the light that you are here to bring into the world. I send you all a good wish, and I hope you are well on this day, the 15th of September. The weather is changing up here in Paonia. I actually woke up in the middle of the night to the sound of rain. and could not see the moon at all because of all the clouds, but it's definitely getting chillier and is a turning and changing of times. I'll see you again soon. Have a blessed day. Bye for now.